choice process? How's that look? How's that work?
So we'll come to that in a couple of pages' time.
Okay.
And so basically people, there's some choices that kind of affect the aesthetic of the character, and some that will have an impact on some of the text in the fantasy world story.
Sounds like a little create your own character kind of thing.
A little bit.
He's giving me like the nod, like the, well, you might be right, you might not. We'll see, I guess, Adrian, right? Stay tuned. And I love the art style.
So this is really kind of just setting the stage for what's to come. This is about kind of establishing Izzy's relationship with her grandmother, who acts as a mentor for her. And she's, as Mark has already said, an aspiring writer. And yeah, we get our first introduction into the fantasy world that she's been writing under her grandmother's tutelage very shortly after this. So this is just kind of showing you, establishing the basic mechanics from the diary section, and then I think, is it this page?
It's like the creative process there of showing Izzy brainstorming, and you as the player are kind of helping her in that process by jumping on those different trigger words, we call them the purple words, that then activate different things on the page.
I like the background notes too. It's like the way my brain works when I'm thinking about things too, like, ugh, it's already boring, that's better. I'm kind of the same way when I think about stuff in games, like, I have doubts, and the doubts are appearing on the page as well as she goes along. Like her inner thought talking to herself right there. Oh!
So
this is the first example of one of the choices that you can make to affect the story. So, if you guys want to pick a name, and then we'll go from there.
Georgia, I gotta go with Georgia. Georgia on my mind, man.
That is a solid choice, my friend.
That smile, you're so
that's like one of my top 5 favorite songs of all time.
Is it really?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
No,
Great taste.
You're serious.
Yeah.
Great taste.
Let's respect.
And red, green, or purple?
You say green or purple?
Purple. Bleed purple.
I mean, it is Twitch. It's got to be purple.
It's Twitch, yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you about the mixture of art styles. Like, it looks like there's watercolors, there's like sketch and that kind of stuff. Was that like the idea from the outset to make it all kinds of different stuff, or how did that process go? We
really wanted the diary to look really creative and unique, and then we also wanted the world of Astoria to look like concept art, come to life, and to be really beautiful. So we knew that we wanted those two distinct styles, but we also wanted them to be as interrelated as possible. And so, yeah, why we've got the little doodles and things that kind of join the two worlds together.
I think it's your turn, Zeke.
What are we going for, man?
Everyone was very fond of Georgia.
Yeah. Her heart was full of curiosity.
No one was as
blank as her.
Playful.
Playful? Cool.
No one was as playful as her.
So this choice affects the some of the objects that we'll see in a second when we transition into Astoria here. So as you can see, we load in, and
oh wow!
This is the fantasy world that
this is Astoria, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't even know it would transition into something this like vibrant. I thought it was going to be like the whole diary the whole way through.
Yeah, no, the whole game is kind of split into these two distinct parts, and it's something that we really want to try and establish in all aspects of development. So obviously visually it's very different, but both in terms of the, I guess the kind of subtext and the tone throughout as well, because the diary deals with some quite harrowing issues that Izzy has to go through in real life. And the game itself is actually really a bit of an exploration into the grieving process and how it affects us as people. And we thought it would be very interesting to look at that through the eyes of a child, because it's a very innocent and pure kind of viewpoint to look at what is a very difficult subject. And Mark spent a lot of time kind of researching with well, you can talk a bit about.
Yeah, so we've been working with the Wellcome Trust, who sort of helped fund part of the game, and also put us in touch with a researcher from Cambridge University called Caitlin Hitchcock. Who's also a child psychologist, and so we were talking to her all about the stages of grief.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've sent her versions of the script, and she's given us feedback and advice, and been really helpful to work with.
So it actually will be an emotional journey in every sense of the phrase. It's usually used as a trope. Like, that's an actual device.
Each stage of the game is actually kind of thematically based on a different stage of the grieving process. So that's something that we went to great pains to capture, both visually and particularly with the music. It's something which I really worked hard on to make sure that the subtext was always there, regardless of kind of how vibrant and happy things seem on screen. There's an underlying kind of sadness to things as well. So
people who actually are going through stages of grief in real life then can play this game and find parallels between what they're experiencing and what the game can tell them along the way. Maybe even how to deal with it.
We hope so.
That's a noble quest, man. I can dig that, and I just want to say, like, I'm not afraid to cry. But is this game gonna do that? Are you gonna make me cry?
If I've done my job properly.
Okay.
If I've done my job properly, it should do. We're super fortunate. We actually got to record the score at Ocean Way Studios in Nashville, which is absolutely incredible studio, world-class musicians, and we just felt, given the seriousness of the subject matter, we really wanted to give it the most respect possible, and just like the added kind of emotion of having human players involved has really helped kind of lift things and bring it to life even more. So, you know, it's just the kind of an example of the attention to detail that we've really been, you know, putting into this.
Something I wanted to ask you about before that's kind of important to me, gameplay-wise, is how important are the choices you make as far as how the narrative plays out?
So we've got the main narrative that we really wanted to tell, so it's not a kind of a massively branching story.
Sure.
But the choices do kind of add different bits of flavour to it. So when we started the Astoria section, we were collecting the different marbles because we chose playful, and so we were getting different bits of text based on our choice there. And so here we've got our word book that allows us to collect the different words that we find, and so we can use them in different sections as we progress through the level.
Yeah, words are magic in Astoria, so they're kind of equivalent of spells.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like your spell book or your inventory.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what are we like? What can we expect this on? I guess in the future.
So it's going to be on Steam and PS.